business minds, pioneering and inspiring entrepreneurs, creative talks, CEO insights, success stories, value markets, and financial education. This is the CEO Show. Hosted by Dan.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another exciting episode of the CEO Show. Remember, this is the 7th episode. This is a show that will always bring you inspiring stories and stories from business leaders, talk about trailblazers in the business industry. They'll always be coming to share their stories from where they began to where they are. And definitely they'll be sharing about their experiences in growing businesses and empires. I'm your host, Dan. Our guest tonight is one amazing person, Mr. Nicholas Karira, who is the CEO of Suncraft Limited, and also is the chairman and founder of Shangwe Uasin Gishu chapter. This is a great man that his story, I'm sure it's going to inspire you. Talk about living the courtroom into making benches, seats, and being a carpenter. Talk about the former, if I'm allowed, the former advocate of the High Court, Mr. Nicholas Karira. His story embodies resilience and definitely confidence, stepping out of a serious profession into another amazing profession. Talk of passion, talk of courage, talk of determination. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome for tonight's show. Remember, we are coming to you live on Facebook and also on YouTube. Remember to comment, share, and also tag a friend to know that you are watching. You'll be sharing your questions and also anything that you can say in the comment section to keep this conversation going. Mr. Nicholas Karira, welcome to the CEO Show. People have been looking forward to hear from you. Who is Mr. Nicholas Karira?
Thank you very, very much. And thank you for this wonderful platform. I think it's a wonderful thing that the CEO program is doing, and to bring on board people who can talk about their challenges, their successes. So Nicholas Karira is was born in Eldoret,
Okay.
In a place called Kamkunji. Grew up here. Went to school mostly here. Like you said, I've been practicing law for quite a while.
Okay.
I am still practicing law, but as a consultant.
Okay.
I no longer go to court.
Okay.
So basically, I can say for myself, I like trying out things.
Okay.
Because I believe that life has a lot to offer, and life is short. So just go out there and whatever comes your way and you like it, just go for it. That's what I can say in a nutshell encompasses me.
Just in a nutshell, and also just paint to us a young career for that matter, where you grew, how was your experience, and what is it that motivated you also to do and pursue law as a profession? Just tell us about your journey in school.
I was among the last classes of Form 6.
Okay.
So I did my A-levels in 1989 in a school called Lumakanda High School. Those days, there was limited opportunities for young people. Like when you're leaving high school, either you're going to be a lawyer, a doctor, an accountant, and all that. So I was fortunate to do well, and I was admitted to University of Nairobi. I had always wanted to be a lawyer before that. My eldest brother actually was a great inspiration for me. His name is A.G.N. Kamau. He had a vibrant practice here in Eldoret. And I was taken to go and do BCom, which was not what I really wanted.
Bachelor of Commerce.
Yes. So I went to KIE for a year. Fortunately, I talked to people at home, and because I had done well, I applied to Leeds University in England, where I did now my undergraduate up to 1994. Then I came back. I worked under my brother. Then after 3 months, I resigned and set up Career and Company Advocates. And I was in active practice until 2010.
That was now in Nairobi?
No. I've always lived. I love this town. I love this town. This is one town where, I have had opportunities to be elsewhere, but I really, really love this town. So yes, I was here. So 2010, I decided I want to venture into business. So I continued working as an advocate, but I wasn't going to court. And then now I started setting up a multitude of businesses. So so that was the beginning of my entrepreneurial journey. 2010. Yes.
Now here you're talking about, now you had your own farm. That was Career and Company Advocates, right?
Yes.
That was also a business of its own.
Absolutely.
But now you're choosing now to do a multitude of businesses, as you said.
Correct.
In your own words. What are some of these? What is it first that made you choose to take a backseat in the profession?
Speaking like for myself, I've always sought adventure. So after practicing law for about 16 years, I got to a point where the farm was doing well, but I was so exhausted all the time. I used to travel a lot. We had matters in Nakuru, Kisumu, Bungoma, Nairobi, So all that movement was really exhausting. And I wanted something different. So as I was preparing to leave the legal profession, I kind of was looking for avenues. So I set up a number of companies. One of them is called Tena Energy, which is still existing.
What was it all about?
So it's a renewable energy company. So we build biogas plants. Yes. So we've been doing that. So we've built biogas plants from Trans Nzoia, Elgeyo Marakwet, Wasingishu, Nandi, and the farthest one, actually, we built one in Sultan Hamoud. That's the farthest one we've ever built. So I did that. I also incorporated another company called Nishamba Fresh, which is still existing. We do agriculture. With that one. We started off with doing tomatoes and all that, but right now we are focused on seedlings. So at the moment we are doing avocado seedlings, the Hass variety, and we've just introduced bamboo. Then we set up another company, Pamoja Solutions. This is a company that deals with general holdings, so properties and all that kind of stuff. Being a lawyer, I did not want to put my family into the problems of succession and all that. So all our properties were registered under that company. So all my properties are in that company. So me and my wife are the directors, and my children will just inherit. So we don't need to go to court for any succession cases to transfer them to anyone. I also have another company called Tulia Lodges. This is we deal with the hospitality industry. I'm glad to tell you that we have two facilities. One is called Tulia Lodge and another one is called Vijiji. They are both operational within this town. And there were some other things. So, I wanted to venture into a number of things. So that's we started that in 2010.
Okay. Now you've mentioned a number. You talk about diversity, for that matter. You are talking about, for the first one, you're talking about energy, in the energy sector. You come talk about agriculture, and then again you talk about property, and then hospitality.
Correct.
All that, why the diversity, and what is it that prompted you to do all this? For example, talk about agriculture. What is it that pushed you to do agriculture, which is even up to now running?
The thing about, in my understanding, is that we normally can do more than we think we can. Yeah. So it is good for people to push themselves a little. And I think that the only thing that should stop you from doing all that you can is yourself. You know, just don't limit yourself. I'm just doing this or this or that. The most important thing is for you to get a good team to work with you. So, for example, Nishamba Fresh, I've had my agronomist, Mr. Koskei, to date. Yeah, he's very dedicated. He loves farming. I love doing business. So he is very happy being at the Shamba, and I'm very happy to supply him with what he needs and do marketing and do that kind of thing. So that is that. My wife runs now Tulia Lodges. And she's very good at that. And then Pamoja Solutions, now that is purely mine, because it is not a business that I can delegate to somebody, you know, like buying or selling property. That one I personally do. Tena Energy came about because of an opportunity that arose. There was a program by the government. It was called KenBIP, and they were promoting the use of biogas. These issues on environmental concerns. And they offered to do some trainings. So I mobilized a number of young people. I took them for training to become artisans who can build biogas plants. And, you know, so I had a team. The team is still existing. We are doing that. So for me, I think it's a question of getting the right team. Yeah. Yes.
And then now, before going into what you are doing, the Suncraft and all that, I've seen that all these businesses are successful. That is what you can attribute to. What is it that? How do you locate an opportunity for you to start? Because a lot of people have brilliant ideas, but now about locating opportunities and making it thrive becomes a challenge. How do you locate these opportunities? Because it's not something that you're professionally an agrarian, you're not professionally into energy, you're an advocate.
Yes.
How do you locate these opportunities and making them thrive?
I think the most important thing for an entrepreneur is your ability to do a lot of research and to do things that you find interest in. You will get many opportunities, because I got other opportunities which I did not pursue. So you weigh between the available opportunity and the potential to grow. Because I in all these businesses, I always evaluate the potential for that business to grow. When I'm investing, I have to see in 10 years, where will I be? Because if you do not do that, you will invest in a business that will stagnate. You know, you will do very well in that business, but you cannot grow anymore. So it is very important for you to, once you're thinking about a business, for you to like visualize ahead and say 10 years, you know, could I be, where could I be? And if you see that you will hit a plateau very quickly, you may not want to, you know, like put your eggs there. I also like to, especially in property, I like to see how the town is moving. So, like for example, at the moment we have the bypasses. Land is still available, and people are not buying. What will happen is that one person will buy, start building, and then everybody will rush there. So what Pamoja Solutions is doing right now is actually we are looking for land there and we're investing in there. Yes.
Okay.
And we are holding that
Okay.
for the short while.
Okay.
So as we wait for now people to come, and they'll find us there.
Okay.
So that we kind of like look ahead and say,
You foresee an
yes, where is the economy going? Where is the country going? And then, and invest early enough, as opposed to going in when now everybody is on the ground,
Okay.
and then it becomes too competitive.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just going back to Pamoja Solutions, you mentioned something like having all your property under that company.
Yes.
To sort out future feuds and also future issues when it comes to properties, of which we've seen a lot of successful people and even people who are considered very rich in the society. But the moment they leave or the moment they die, we have a lot of issues with the family and also coming in succession. And you've mentioned something about succession. How do you manage this, and how do you plan this?
Of course, the legal background. We used to do a lot of succession cases, and so you would find, especially, all the property is registered in the name of the man. And unfortunately, when they pass away, when they die, some have not left a will. So the only way that the family can move forward is they have to go to court, file a case for succession, and then the court has to adjudicate over that case. And then, all the pooling and tagging and everything. So one of the solutions that I saw was to have all the properties that I have, or we have as a family, in the name of a company. Company has shareholders. So the only thing that changes is the shareholders, but the title remains with Pamoja Solutions.
Okay.
So that way, we don't need to go to court to do succession. No, all we need to do is probably register the CR12. These are the new directors and stuff like that, and the matter just keeps going on. Even our bank accounts, we do not have personal bank accounts.
Okay.
They are all companies.
For companies.
Yes. So that way, we don't have somebody going for a case maybe for succession. There's money belonging to an individual. So I did. That was a strategic move to avoid that eventuality, because eventually we're all going.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
That is the hard fact.
That is the truth. Okay. It's a good fact, because if we don't go, can you imagine? From the time of Abraham, if all these people are still here, Yes. So it's a good thing that people should go and allow others to, like take over.
Okay.
Yes.
Just to mention something now that you before we talk about the carpenter, that we have an advocate in the house. We've had a lot of, when you talk about wills, writing a will. How early or how soon should one prepare?
I guess as soon as possible. A will, as the word means, is something that you wish to be done after you are dead. So, and it involves everything, from the way you want to be buried to how you want to share out your property and all that kind of stuff. The problem normally comes in the misunderstanding of how to prepare a will. And if I may say, it is important for people to seek legal advice when they're preparing wills, because if you do not, chances are that will be contested.
Okay.
One of the things I see people make mistakes is when somebody is making a will. Let's say you are my son. I call you and tell you, nimekuachia hii na nimeandika kwa will. That will is null and void at that particular moment. Because as a beneficiary, you are not supposed to know what is in the will.
Oh.
You are not supposed to know. The reason is that if there is proof that you knew that you are beneficiary of the will, at the time that the deceased was alive, of course, when he was making the will, then there is the presumption that you may have influenced.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So ideally, the way a will should be done, it should be done with secrecy. Not so much like people don't know you have a will, but the contents thereof should not be something that you should publicize.
Okay.
So you take two witnesses, and even those witnesses should not know the contents of the will. No.
Okay.
You preferably get a lawyer to draft the will for you. Hopefully a lawyer that you do not know, preferably. Then after they've drafted the will, the witnesses only come to see you sign.
Not about the content.
No, they shouldn't know about the content. So they see you sign, the lawyer signs, and now the lawyer keeps a copy in his custody, and maybe you can take another copy to the bank, a safe deposit box. And with instructions that when I die, now that is the instructions you give to the family.
Okay.
In the event of my demise, go to lawyer so and so, and now he has my will.
Okay.
Yes. So that ideally that is how it should be done.
Okay.
Yes.
And there is somebody who talked about having it in trust, forming a trust, having your property in trust, vis-a-vis.
Yes. Now, trust, that is a whole new thing, in the sense it's very different from a will, because a trust essentially means that there is you're putting your property or whatever it is that you want done in trust to a number of people.
Okay.
With instructions on how to manage them.
Okay.
To manage that property. So trusts are a bit very, very gray. Very, 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 very gray. Because the legalities around trusts are very, shall I say, they involve a lot of legal aspects, in the sense that you can question the drafting of a trust requires a lot of understanding of what you're doing.
Okay.
Because when you're dead, these people are going to manage that property, for example, or that fund, maybe into perpetuity.
Okay.
So a trust normally is done by people who have maybe a lot of money, and they want to section it because they can maybe they feel like, even if I leave my family with a few billions, they're not going to use it all. So for the sake of humanity, I can set up a trust, maybe to support orphaned children.
Okay.
And now you pick a board, and this board has to have very specific instructions on how to manage that fund.
Okay.
So the question always arises with the integrity of the trustees. Yes, because you're not there. So management of trust funds requires a lot of yes. It's not a common practice in Kenya. No. I never had the opportunity of drafting some trust.
Okay.
But we did learn about it.
Oh, nice. I think that was just an additional kind of knowledge that we needed, because in business, definitely you need such information so that you prepare also for the same.
Absolutely.
Now, talk about moving from who you are. That was, and probably you're still offering consultancy services.
Yes.
But you don't do it majorly. You're a carpenter, right?
I am a carpenter.
Now, talk about Suncraft. Moving from all these, is it you didn't find satisfaction in the courts, and are you currently satisfied in what you're doing?
So 2010, so I stopped going to court. but I still kept my office,
Okay.
career and company advocate. And it was tricky because I did not want to get partners into my practice because I wanted out. So that took me 5 years. Yes, took me 5 years. So from 2010, I scaled down on the matters that I was taking on. And from 2010 also, I stopped going to court. So I was just doing consultancy work and also building my businesses. Come November 2015, okay, I had given out all my files, whatever cases I was concluding, I had concluded and everything. Yes, I locked the doors to the office and and went to start the journey of carpentry.
Okay, how now talk about how was the inception? What is it that made you now venture into carpentry? Was it passion? Like, what is it that made you, of all the things that you could do for business, why carpentry?
I've always loved design. I love designing. When I was much younger, even in form 3, my grandfather was a builder, and I would go with him to sites.
A carpenter or a mason?
No, just a contractor. Generally, he was a mason, but he would just oversee building projects. Na alikuwa ananiandika kama mtu wa mkono.
Oh,
yes.
When you were young?
When I was very young, I was like 15.
Okay.
That's how, yes. By that time, actually, I could, when I was in Form 3, Form 4, I could lay tiles. That much I remember.
As young as you ulikuwa unaenda kwa mjengo?
Kwa mjengo, with the wheelbarrows and everything. So I like that. My inclination also to design.
Okay.
So when now I was thinking of something that can really engage me, because these other businesses were not that engaging, like Tena Energy. Tena Energy has its own management and all that, and fundis and all that. So it was not engaging for me. So I thought, okay, what medium can I use to really put my hands into? And I thought, if I was to, let's say, go into construction, I found that to be a little bit dull. Because once you have designed a house and whatever, now, when the masons are putting it up, what do you do? But wood is interesting. Because wood, you have maybe a tree, and then the next thing you have a seat. Okay. So that transformation,
conversion.
Yes. That was intriguing for me. And I thought, why not? So I actually had no background whatsoever in carpentry. Zero. So, but I wanted to do it. So I didn't even know what machines I needed. Of course, when we are starting, I got some rogue carpenters to come and help me set up the workshop.
Okay.
Because they messed me up a little, but I was determined.
Where was it?
Same location where we are, on Uganda Road.
Okay.
Yeah. So I decided that for me to succeed in this business, I needed to build my own workshop, because I knew that if I went to lease, I'm in the business for the long haul. And if I was to lease and I ran out of money, then I will be kicked out, because I cannot afford rent. So the first thing I did was set up my own workshop.
Okay.
So we did that. I remember my very first machine was a broken down leader, small machine like this. It's called my multi-purpose machine that I was given by my supplier for timber. I used to buy little timber, make a chair, make something. So one time I went to, I'd been going to buy timber from him.
Okay.
And I would, I would go with my fundi and they say, cut this timber for us like this, and then we would go and do the joinery at the workshop. So it was just the two of us at the beginning. And I saw this machine that was just there. So I asked him, nipatie hii, and then kutafutia pesa. I had spent all my money putting up the workshop.
The workshop.
And
Which year was that?
2015, around maybe when it was coming to a close. And he said, wewe chukua tu, lakini imeharibika. So called somebody else, says, I can't remember the name. Hebu utaenda kwa workshop ya huyu ndio machine. So yeah, so I still have the machine up to date.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We repaired it, and so it's been an interesting journey.
Yeah. Is there anybody that you are looking up to in this industry?
Absolutely.
This person that motivated you to do this person that you are comparing notes, like, I need to have a workshop just like so and so. Was there somebody of that nature?
There were some people who are doing fantastic jobs. There's a gentleman I went to school with.
Okay.
He had a workshop called Premier. He used to make furniture. I was like, I would love to do that. And then there was another one called Steve. Steve was very good. So I would go to their workshop, I would look at what they're doing, and I would just get mesmerized when I see a table, And I was thinking, one day I would want to do that. But reality hit hard. This good gentleman had invested a lot of time. And the competition in the carpentry business was quite intense. In fact, some people were telling me, like, you can't be serious. So unatoka ofisi, unaenda kusugua mbao, fundi wa mastool, stuff like that. But not to be discouraged, for me, I was enjoying, and I was fairly determined. I knew I was going to go places with that work. So what I realized that I needed to do was to create a very unique product that is very difficult to replicate. And so I started using locally available timber. Everybody else was using mahogany, cypress and all that. So me, I looked for just local timber, local kabisa. Rejects, yes. By the way, those days I would go to yards where they sell timber, and they would have all those short, cut up small pieces, and they used to call them offcuts. I'd buy that at a fraction of the price, and I would go back with the whatever to them with the workshop, and I'd go like with my guys and say, hii tutaweza kufanyia nini? So we learned a lot. So people actually came to associate Suncraft with very artistic furniture. And that's what we've been doing ever since to date. So that is sort of like how I created my space, because I realized that if I make what everybody else is making, I'm not going to go through. These guys, they have the experience, they have money, they have established markets. So I realized that I have to do something very unique. So I came up with an idea where I would tell people that we do customized jobs. So you come to us, we don't give you what you want. We don't give you what we have or what you like. We give you exactly what you want. So that kind of helped.
Now, getting into a new industry, you don't have experience, you don't have background knowledge. At what point did it click to you that this is the right thing that I need to do? Because sometimes somebody starts a business, then within 1 year they close down, within 2 years some close down, even after 3 years. At what point did you realize that this is the right thing that I wanted to do?
So my business philosophy has always been, before you start anything, like I was saying, look at the future. Yes, look at that. Is what is going to carry you through. Your vision of the future. Because there is no business that does not have challenges. That is a lie. If somebody comes and tells you, I started and I was just flying colors, but we love these so-called failures, because for me, Those are learning lessons. So by the time that I was starting, I was very sure that I would find pleasure in creating these units. And as I learned more, by the way, you have to study. You have to learn, you know. I'm happy that these days I can look at a piece of furniture and go like, do this and do this and do that. So now it's a lot of fun. And then keeping it fresh, you know, not like, okay, this is a bed that we've been making for God knows how many years. So it's the same one. In fact, at Suncraft, if you come after 2 months, whatever you saw is not there.
No longer there.
And we are unwilling to do something like that.
Okay.
We want to keep progressing and progressing and progressing and progressing. And that has really done as well, because we have people coming from all over the country to get stuff from Suncraft. In fact, we have had even some international offers, except we are not interested in the logistics of exporting. Yeah, but we've had people from Germany, States, and even Turkey. Yeah, and they tell us they want what we are doing because it is not machine made.
Okay.
It is authentically handmade. So that has really given us leverage.
Okay.
And we've also restricted our business to furniture and design. So furniture for inside the house. So we don't do doors, we don't do sconnies, I don't know. We don't do everything. So we focus on a small area. And I think that's an important thing for people to do. You know, like if you take whatever industry that you're in, for example, clothing industry, and taking Dandan, for example, everybody knows you for suits. You see?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm one of your clients, as you know.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So getting narrowing down to a small area, you do a lot of very good service.
Okay.
Yes. So in carpentry, I would probably say, don't do everything. If you have the capacity to do very good doors, kwamia hapo. People will know you for doors.
I'm sure Mr. Karira, a lot of people come and kwambia si unaweza nyundia mlango, they offer good money.
They do.
But you reject.
Yes.
The motivation is now
because it's
specializing.
Yeah, because the moment you open that door, I mean, you're back in the rat race. So I actually give referrals when people come to me and they want doors or stuff like that. I tell them there's so and so who does very good doors. Yeah, but leo utataka sofa bwana ukuje hivi, you know. So yeah, because that one I tell them, I'm very good with that, with the furniture for inside the house. I'll come to your house, we will measure. We will do furniture that will fit your space, and when somebody walks into that space, the design, the color, the size will fit your space perfectly.
Okay.
Because we say that furniture is a bit like the house. It's a long-term investment. It's not something you keep changing every day.
Very true.
So why don't we build for you something that suits your space? So people, they kind of buy into that, and that has actually been what has been happening. That's what has sustained us through it all.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you were, ladies and gentlemen, when you were having a side chat with Mr. Karira, you even mentioned to me that they can take your measurements for them to design a seat that is suitable for you, because sometimes you just speak and use it. But surprisingly, you have to take my measurements to design a seat for me.
Yeah, we take your back from the upper mgongo all the way to your madundulis. Then across to where your leg folds at the knee, and we actually craft a seat that suits you. Yeah, because on the side chat I was telling Bwana Dan that him is above average and below average, so we can't
So you
use the
design
same
something.
Yes, for the individual.
Okay.
Yeah.
Talk about innovation and creativity. There are a lot of people who have creative ideas. They are very innovative ideas, but planting it and making it into fruition becomes a challenge. How can you talk to these creative minds?
That is a very important question, because I think that what keeps the world moving is innovation. Everybody does whatever they do differently, because you bring your personality into your business. I like to look at business as an extension of who you are. Many people fail to do well in business because they try and imitate what others are doing. Like, for example, in my industry of carpentry, if you have a good fundi, somebody opens a workshop, they come, they steal him, he goes and does what he was doing for you and all that. Creating or being creative could sound like it's something very complicated, but it really is not. It's just you doing something in your own way. We call it innovation, but actually, the person who is doing it, for them it has come naturally, you know. So if you find, let's say, somebody who makes clothes, and they seem to be doing such beautiful pieces, and you ask them, they say no, because it comes naturally to them. If you try and imitate, then it becomes very difficult for you. So what I would probably advise is startups is, number one, try and do what you like. Sometimes people talk about passion. I think passion is a very big one. Passion, like to be passionate, it requires a lot of emotion and whatever. But if you do something you like, you are bound to do a lot of research. It's something you're enjoying to do. You're happy serving your customers. You're happy, when people appreciate what you're doing. And always understand that as a person, you're not very unique. So when you talk of a niche market, you're talking of people who are like you or like what you do. So just do what you like to do and trust that there are people like you out there. And that is now what, that is your niche market. Taking Suncraft, for example, we do a lot of rustic furniture. And some people come and wanakejeli, wanasema sasa hii makuni na nini, hii viti ya wazungu. And we're okay with that. And that is not my customer. And I'm okay with that because I cannot please everybody. So we have developed our niche market. People who like what we like. And we are happy with those people. So I would probably challenge the notion where people say, try and please the customer. I would probably challenge that. I would say, please yourself. Do something that you like. Because customers are very varied. Some people like their eggs scrambled, some boiled, some like it fried. Now, if you are satisfying them all, so in your industry, make sure that whatever you're giving out there is something that you like. So when you're selling it, you actually are selling what you believe is a good product. So for me, I would say, just do something you like. Talk to people who like what you like. Do not try and overconvince somebody. If they like it, fine. If they don't like it, it's fine. I'm not saying don't take criticism and don't try and learn and go like being arrogant and say, yeah, kama utaki. No. When they talk, listen. Take the positive, learn from that. Because somebody will actually come and build you and say, this furniture is not good. And you'll say, why? Because of this and this and this. And you'll listen. So if it is something that can help you grow, pick it. If they tell you and you look at the furniture and you're okay with the way it has come out, just know that that was not your customer. So yeah, so I would encourage people to do what they like.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, what is it that informs your creativity? Because you mentioned that today you are doing something different, tomorrow you'll do something completely different.
Absolutely.
And in a week's time, somebody will not get what they got last week. What is it that informs, other than you mentioned about reading a lot?
Yeah.
What is it that, other than reading, what is it that informs your creativity?
So for me, the word success, in a nutshell, is not a destination. It's a progression. So once you have learned something, I mean, you know it now. And if you stay there, you're not growing. So what you want to do is you learn something which becomes a step for learning something new. And you keep going. So for us, what makes us very excited at Suncraft is that it's a lot of fun, because like I was saying, once you have a piece of wood, then you have a bed or a sofa or something like that. And turning that wood into the piece of furniture, which is in your mind, as opposed to something that you did yesterday, is what now drives us. Because in business, I think it is important for you to continually grow. And you do that by learning. So I do read a lot. And because of internet, I can find out how the Japanese are doing their seats, the Germans, Americans, traditionally how we used to do them. And then I borrow an idea here and here and here, and I put them together, and I come up with a new something. But it's really not new. But the point is, to me, it is something that has taken me a step away from where I was. And that perpetual growth is what is exciting for us. We do something and we are so happy with it, and then tomorrow we say, nah, let's try something new. So that is really what drives our business.
Okay.
Yes, and
Perpetual growth.
Perpetual growth.
Very important.
Yes.
Okay. Now, you mentioned something about criticism and people discouraging you, people telling you that you've not done the right thing. And when you're starting the whole business, somebody was telling you, like, why leave a very lucrative kind of profession and choosing to venture into something that people consider it's lowly in a way. How do you handle criticism? Because there are a lot of young people who are outside there, and some even close business because somebody said something which didn't go well with what he had or what he had in the mind. How do you manage, and how do you come out of criticism from where you began to the successful person that you are?
So when somebody criticizes you, it is their view. It should never be yours. So you should know yourself. I think developing a personal philosophy is very important. Constant reading, for me, especially the why you're doing whatever you're doing, is very, very important. You have to have the why. If you don't have a strong enough why, then you're bound to collapse at the very first bump. So when you start a business, and I always advocate that build your business on paper first before you actually invest your money. Because some people, you go to somebody, you say, oh, biashara ya boda boda ni mzuri, and somebody seems to be doing well. You don't know where they got their money from or whatever. So you go and borrow money and start your boda boda business without having done your research. Then, after a short while, when you get the criticism, because you do not understand the business well, or where you're going with the business, then you're bound to fail. But if you even want to start, let's say, even that boda boda business, first you talk to people who are in the business, you talk to suppliers, you get to know the different kind of motorbikes, you get to understand, is it a growth business? How will I grow? How will I do this? So on paper, that is before you've put your money into the business. Then when somebody criticizes you, you're able to look at that criticism objectively, because you already have an understanding of the business that you're going into. That is really, 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 really important. Then people criticize you from their own myopic experiences. Every business is a good business. The only variable is the business person. That is the only difference. So you find in one business, somebody is doing very, very well. And in the other business, somebody is doing not so well. You know, I like giving an example. Not casting aspersions, but we have somebody like maybe somebody big, maybe in the music industry, somebody like who do we know? Rihanna. Okay, we have Rihanna, and then we have Tindikiti boys, wherever they are. You know, they are both in the music industry. But one is doing very well, the other one sings maybe and gets lunch. You know, so can you take advice from Tindikiti boys? He will tell you biashara hata hakuna pesa. Okay, so if you take criticism without understanding yourself, then you will, like you said, probably close short. So it is important for you to know that that is not your view. Always listen to criticism with a smile. Always do not unnecessarily respond to criticism. Take in the information, internalize it, analyze it, see whether it's useful. Then that is what we call positive criticism. Use it to improve. If it is negative criticism, ditch it and move on. Never hold like a grudge. Those guys, after they've criticized you, they go back to their own problems. They're not thinking about you. You are left there thinking about what they said. So that's what I would say about that point.
Okay, that's nice. Now, talk about you're running you're one person that we've learned that you're very hands-on in running your business and having those other businesses. What is your management principle? How do you manage all these, and how does your typical day look like as a person?
Okay. To start with, maybe the way I view my businesses and management, I like to give my team a lot of respect, and I do not micromanage. I completely delegate. So once we have decided on a task and the person has understood the task at hand, I leave it to them to execute it. Then if they are unable to understand it, I do say, okay, fine, you can come back and we discuss about it. Because sometimes when you give instructions, what you say and what you're going to do becomes a bit different, you know, when you're practically doing it. So we consult a lot about that. And I make sure that I have a very open relationship with my team, so that when they come to speak to me, I listen. And then I ask why, and I expect them to answer. And then they ask me why, and they expect me to answer. And that back and forth is very good, because they feel valued, in the sense that their advice is taken on board, and I do take that on board. So I do delegate completely. Okay. And that frees me my time to do other things, because I do not have to go all the time, you know, pigilia pamsumari, stuff like that. So that I think is very, very critical. As an entrepreneur, if somebody fails to execute your instructions properly, the fault is yours. Because if you are not able to express your desire, they cannot understand it. So for you, I think as entrepreneurs, we should learn to communicate in very simple language. Yeah.
Okay.
So that our team completely understand us. And then you must know the nature of your team. There's some people who it will take 1, 2, 3 times to explain something, and there's some people who will grasp it immediately. So as an entrepreneur, it is truly important for you to understand your team, and also for you to learn to express yourself, so that now your instructions are followed properly. So always take the blame if your instructions are not followed properly. Now my typical day, starting with my mornings on a daily basis, Monday to Friday, I wake up between 4:30 and 5. Those are the most important hours of my day. It's quiet, I'm rested. I make myself a cup of coffee, and before I go to bed, I know the kind of research I want to do or the work I want to do in the morning. That's when I do most of my creativity. I think about my business, where am I taking them, all that kind of stuff. I do a lot of writing. I have a lot of notebooks. So I do that. Then from 7 to 8, I go and do a little bit of workout 5 days a week. And then, by 9:30, I'm at the office, at the workshop. One thing I started doing, which I still do now, is from 7:30 to 9:30 when I get to the office, my phone is off.
7:30 to 9:30?
Yes, 7:30 in the evening to 9:30 in the morning, my phone is off.
Reason being?
It's my me time.
Okay.
It's my me time. In the evenings, after I come to work, I just chill, maybe watch a movie, do something that does not require a lot of mental engagement. Then by 10, I'm off to bed. So I think it is good to unplug, because I would get somebody who would call me maybe even at 11 and said, natafuta viti, nataka uniundie viti. So, at that point, I can't do much for you. I would understand a doctor cannot put off their phones, but I'm a carpenter. I don't see emergencies. I don't see somebody going like, Harira, nakuhitaji sahi kiti yangu imevunjika mguu. I don't see that. So I think one of the benefits of being a carpenter is that we don't deal with emergencies.
Okay.
No. Okay. Yeah, and I think it is healthy to unplug. Yeah, it is healthy to unplug.
Okay. And somebody talked about like make time for yourself, and you find that a lot of business people and entrepreneurs, rarely do they create time for themselves, and sometimes it gets to a point that they crash because the mind is very delicate, and that is your first asset. Talk about mental health in business. How important is it, and how in relation to what you say?
I mean, that is one of the reasons why I had close practice, because legal work is very demanding. Every day you have a court case, you're expected to come from court, see clients, do drafting, travel and all that. And it was very fatiguing, very, very, very fatiguing. And literally there was no time. Most people would go to the lawyers when they have an emergency, a property is being sold, something like that, and it's high octane. So I think that ties down to the reason why we do business. I think business is there to serve us, as opposed to us serving the business. So I think that you should build your business around you, but don't build yourself around the business.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that is really, really important. I think what we get paid for when we're doing business, it's not the time we spend at work. It's the value that we take to the marketplace.
Okay.
The value. Yeah, the interesting thing is this. Some of the big business people. You'll find them going to play golf, they're on holidays, they're, they're enjoying their lives, They seem to have the time.
Okay.
Yeah. But now, and this goes for many businessmen. They do not have a big enough vision to make a lot of money in their business. So they're always struggling to make ends meet, and that sort of ties them down. I think to get away from that is to create a big vision, where you understand like how much money you need to make for you to live comfortably, and that is very subjective. So don't make money for the sake of just having money. You must have the why are you making this money. Yes. Beyond that, stop. Because otherwise, you're making money and you're making more money and you're making even more money. You have 20,000 in the bank account. You're not sleeping because you're looking for the next 20 million. What for? Yeah, you drop dead. Yeah. So I think for mental health, it's very important to answer the question, the why. Why are you working? And ideally, the way I think about it, and this is something that probably everybody will agree with, is you're working to be able to live a good life.
Very true.
Yeah. So if a good life is just working throughout, then you're a successful person. Yeah. So, but if it's not, I think you need to know how much money you need to make for you to live the way you want, and that is achievable. So you say, I want this kind of house, I want this kind of car, I want this kind of holidays and whatever. And then you total that up. This is the amount of money that I need. Then you go to the business. Is this business going to give me that? And what is it going to take from me? So once you have done that, then you build your business to get you the money to live that life. But make sure that the business does not take all your time so that you're unable to enjoy the fireplace you built and the holidays you want to go for. Yeah. And you balance it off. I think balancing is very important. Because no matter what you do, like I said, we are mortal. We're going to die. So don't just work. You are living half your life. You're not enjoying life. So yeah.
Now, talking about money, this is a critical bit about business and running a business. Talk about financial management. Talk about, are you a saver? Are you an equity person? Are you a debt person? And I'm sure all those combines into a business. How do you balance all this? And there's some businesses that people say that we are not a debt people. Like we are not into borrowing a lot. But the concept is, are you the same? Or?
I am. I'd say I'm very risk averse. I don't borrow.
Oh.
I don't borrow. I've never borrowed like heavy debts. No. I tried it once and it wasn't a lot of money. I paid it with tears. I think that the capacity for us to achieve whatever we want to achieve is there with planning and with time. The thing about like taking loans, it offers a quick fix solution, and it could be a problem because you develop an idea and you borrow money. So you didn't have money, you've not done the business, you just have the idea. Then when you borrow money, you have a sudden influx of capital. You invest in the business, you become overwhelmed because you've not taken time to grow in the business. So you do not quite understand it. I think that if I was to take a loan, maybe it would be to grow an existing business as opposed to a startup.
Okay.
Because when you're growing slowly, gradually, you learn as you grow. When you suddenly take out a loan of, let's say, 1 million shillings, you've put it into your business. The bank wants you to start repaying, even if they give you a grace period, it's 2 months or whatever. You know, as a businessman, we know that starting turning over a profit in that period of time is a bit tricky. So what happens is you start defaulting. And once you default once, then there's things like penalty clauses. So then there's compound interest, you know, and things like that, and it disorients you. So now your focus moves from building the business to survival mode. Yes. So I am risk averse. I believe that any business you want to do, you can actually find ways of generating money to finance that other line of business. For example, when I bought the property where Suncraft is located, it took me 5 years to pay off that property. So I found ways in which I could enhance the existing businesses. I remember Tena Energy did a lot in purchasing that property, and also Pamoja Solutions. We turned over quite a number of property to generate income, which I used to pay off that. It took me 5 years, but I didn't take a loan. Same thing with the hotel Vijiji. Yeah, we are operational now. It's a good hotel. We have 12 rooms. We have 4 conferencing facilities. We have gardens. We have all this. It took me 11 years to build it, but no loan. Yeah, so I was building it slowly.
Okay.
I did get the opportunity to borrow money and finish off quickly. But I would have finished it, but I would not have the clientele to come and patronize it sufficiently for me to be able to start getting back money to repay off the loan. So there was a risk there. They would have come to sell the property. Yeah. But now, the loan I was being given was a 10 years loan. And I was thinking to myself, do I want to spend 10 years just paying off a loan? You know, but that is my personal philosophy. Of course, others have had successes with borrowing and whatever. So I'm just giving my personal opinion on loans. I think that if you want to grow your business or even start a new one, from where you are with the business that you have, you can think, okay, how much do I need for that loan? How can I expand whatever I have to finance that? So that's what I do. On savings, yeah, I don't save. Unfortunately, I know that is something that many people do. But I do invest. I'm an ardent investor. So I could say I invest in other businesses, I invest in properties. I do not save money per se. I am looking though into the money market because I think the return on investments, if you're prudent enough, give very good returns, especially if you have good amounts. And I think that is what I want to do because of my retirement plan. So that now I have a consistent amount coming in without me necessarily having to physically to work. So SACCOs offer good return on investments. Some insurance companies do, treasury bonds and all that. But my inclination is toward investing with insurances and SACCOs. Low risk investment. So you're guaranteed basically that your money is safe, and the return on investment will be, then you'll be getting your dividends or interest at the due date. So yes.
So you are not a saving person, risk averse. You don't go into debts. And there is somebody who just signed a loan application form tonight. What is it that you can tell this person before getting that money? Because sometimes we especially the young people and the SMEs, we have the excitement of just having that money. And sometimes we have scenarios whereby somebody gets the money, when in fact, without even knowing where the money is going.
Yes.
What can you tell me?
I would say it's a debt. The moment you get that money, no, it's a debt. Then, there's a misinformation, I think, sometimes when we are borrowing money. Somebody comes and tells you tukupatia pesa. They're not giving you money. They're lending you money. They should say tunataka kukupatia deni. In fact, they should use that word. Because when you're given money, you have the sense that, like it's mine. It's not yours. It's somebody else's. They're giving it to you. They're lending it to you, and you'll repay it with an interest. So I'd say, fine, take the loan. But before you do, sign that loan form. How sure are you that you're going to repay that? Because once you've taken it, it doesn't matter whether a tsunami came and blew away your house, where you had invested, you're expecting customers to come, they have not come, the bank will come and tell you, pay us. And they'll not be smiling, pay us. So what contingency plan do you have? I think that is critical.
Okay.
Do you have another source of income so that now you can cover your lack of? I think it is important that you should have that, because life is very uncertain. And that's why I'm so risk averse, because I do know that, no matter how well we prepare, there are unexpected things that come up. For people who are in agriculture, they can take out insurance. I think that is important. They can take, not because of bad business decisions, because the insurance will not cover that. But if there's a crop failure, the bank will not want to know. So take out insurance on that. In the event that you are not sure, you're not sure that you'll be able to get money to repay that loan, please don't. Wacha tu. Just grow slowly. And what I have realized is that in all my investments, it takes me around 6 months to 1 year for me to know my way around, to navigate and to generate income. 6 months to a year. Yeah.
Okay.
So when you know where the money is coming from, you can always expand and see how you can get more. Because the same formula you used to get a little is the same formula you get you use to get a lot. And that time you'll have maybe established a reputation with the suppliers, so they can give you goods on credit. And goods on credit do not incur interest. And they're really short-term debts, very short-term debts. We all do, even me, I do that. I take goods, and then once I sell the product, I pay off. Yes.
So Karira, just we're going to take a very short break. Then we come now talk about Shangwe, and also you do a lot of mentorship to young people, and also to the SMEs. We'll be coming up shortly after this break. Then we talk about Medzali and Shangwe and what you do. Ladies and gentlemen, remember this is the CEO of Suncraft, Mr. Nicholas Karira, and time is really flying. I wish you could hold time for some time. But we'll be back shortly after this break. Remember, share your questions so that on the tail end of this particular show, Mr. Karira will be answering. Comment, drop a question, and even a remark so that we can be responding in a few. Taking this short break. Mr. Karira, talk about now, you are the chairman of Shangwe Juakali. When people talk about Juakali, they tend to demean Juakali, and yourself, you're in Juakali. What do you do in Shangwe?
Thank you very much. This is a very interesting opportunity For us, I've been in the Juakali sector for quite a while. And the thing about the word Juakali is normally associated with, noise, back streets, hammering sufurias and stuff like that. True, that is where it started. But essentially, at the moment, even talking about policy and government policy, is that Juakali has gained an esteemed position. So Juakali essentially is same as MSME, micro, small, medium enterprises. What I like about the word Juakali is that it is truly a Kenyan, way of saying small businesses, and it's a strange definition for me, because when now we talk of small businesses, people do not sometimes understand that any business that grosses 50 million is an SME. So if you ask somebody, how's your business doing? And they say, I make 50 million. To us, that's a very rich person. But according to policy, hiyo ni mtu ya Juakali tu. So yeah, I'm proudly a member of the Juakali. And we do want to change that narrative. We do want to create a situation whereby we have people in the Juakali industry driving the Range Rover Sports and living in the leafy suburbs and proudly saying, I'm in the Juakali sector. So that's one of the reasons why I purposely registered Shangwe as a Juakali association. I really want to protect that word. Juakali association. People say, why don't you just call it association or an SME? I said, why? Juakali. That is Kenyan, truly Kenyan. So yeah, so Shangwe Juakali Association is registered in Uasin-Gishu. It operates in at the moment in Elgeyo Marakwet, Uasin-Gishu, and Nandi. We support. It's an umbrella body that offers support to MSMEs. We have a network where we link the opportunities available in business to the beneficiaries, because a lot of people in the SME sector, they do not know what opportunities lie. Just as an example, there's an initiative to plant 15 billion trees by President Ruto. Yeah. But if you go around town, they are not there. They are not people planting seedlings. So where are we going to plant the 15 billion trees?
We don't have the seedlings.
We don't have the seedlings. There is other opportunities and I do want to specifically talk about MSEA, Micro Small Enterprises Authority. This is one organization under the Ministry of Industrialization, I believe, and cooperatives, where there are very many opportunities. For example, they give out free work sites.
Okay.
Yes, many people don't know that. Yeah. So you go to them with your idea. They have established sites. You go and you establish your industry there. Other organizations like KIRDI, Kenya Industrial Research Development Institute, they will train you for free, literally, and they'll incubate many businesses. Institutions such as KEBS, which they do standardization. KIE, they give loans and they offer sites where you can go and even buy off land, and they give you loans to start up and grow your businesses. Things like Uwezo Fund and Youth Fund and all that kind of stuff. So Shangwe has seen an opportunity in here, and we have stepped in so that now we link the opportunities to the MSCs. Okay. So for our members, we make their lives a little bit easier. And we're very heavy on the issue of cooperatives. Why? When people come together to do one thing, they can do it in large quantities, and they can produce a consistent quality of whatever product that it is that they want to produce. And the cooperatives jointly puts those things together and sends them to the market. What we have in Kenya right now, if you take any industry, especially in the agricultural sector, you find like if I'm growing maize on my 1, 2, 3, 4 acres, I harvest it, tunapatana kwa line ya cereals. If you are a member of a cooperative, you don't need to do that. You harvest your maize, you take it to the cooperative yenyewe itapeleka huko. You get? And they can even now, because they'll have large quantities of maize, and that's where Shangwe comes in, we can now support you into setting up even a processing plant. There is a policy by government called aggregation centers, where we keep hearing all these issues of value addition. In every meeting you go, you hear value addition, we need to do value addition. So there is in place policy for that. But people don't know about it. And the government does not have the capacity to go and talk to everyone. So Shangwe has stepped in. So yeah, so that is the reason why we set up a Shangwe.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you have opportunities for mentorship and also holding hands of these young people? We have a lot of young people who look forward to be like you, and they don't have that opportunity. And if so, where can they find you?
I am very proud of the young generation today. They are very educated. The thing about the way we are as a society is that we've been taught like, okay, study hard, pass your exams, get a job. And that has left a lot of us, like in a limbo. The good thing right now is that Kenya has huge opportunities. I would advise the Gen Z, while you're still young, you have the space to take risks. You don't have a family. You can sleep hungry. You can just do chapo dengu, whatever. That's where I started. Build your finance base while you're still very young. Do not consider yourself young, because some people say when I grow, I can do a little thing as I look for capital. No, I think that is wrong. I think we should start looking for the big ideas while we are very, very young. My advice to people who are, let's say, like maybe 20, 23 years, you're good to be a CEO. You're good to be a CEO. You should create a very big idea. You should pursue it so that in the space of about 2 years, you have a strong capital base, so that now you can enjoy the rest of your life. I think us and probably the earlier generations, we would work and say, I'm going to enjoy when I retire. Don't do that. Don't do that. Start working on the big business, big ideas right now. When you're thinking of investment, do not invest small. Then the other thing I see commonly done is somebody says, I would like to do something, but I don't have capital. Okay. You put yourself in a bind, because if you had capital, then you wouldn't need to do anything, because you have capital. And if you say, I can't do anything because I don't have capital, then you'll never do anything. Because where is the capital going to come from? Starting small is very, very important. People do not realize the importance of taking small steps. They just want to have an idea and immediately be successful. That doesn't work. Does not work. If you're going, let's say, into a business where you like cooking and you want to have this fantastic restaurant, start cooking mandazis by the side of the road. Make them very nice. Find a place where there's many people passing by. You are getting capital, you are getting growth, you are getting to understand the industry. You will grow from there, and then you will get your small kiosks, and in a short while, in 2 years or whatever, you will have your big restaurant. So don't just think about the big restaurant and immediately you start saying, lakini sina pesa ya kufanya hiyo, so I'm not going to do anything. No. I always give this example. If you have a very big tree and you have a very small axe, and you strike that tree with that axe, chances are initially the tree will not feel anything. But if every day you strike that tree 5 times at the same point, one day, no matter how long, that tree will fall. So these small steps are really, really critical. Let nobody put you down. Don't feel ashamed, because some of the Gen Zs maybe jamaa ako hapo poa, he's maybe gone to a good school, he speaks very well, he sees, I cannot go to start my work as a carpenter or a juakali guy there kugonga masufuria, but boss, you're making money and you started your journey, and that is where your capital comes from. Do that small job. In fact, a point to note, the MSME, i.e. the juakali sector, employs 85% of the workforce in this country. 85%. 15% are in the formal sector. Go. Wenda chafuka, oga jioni, be smart, go and hang out with your friends. But don't be too choosy when you're starting off. Start from wherever you are.
Like, don't be too choosy.
Don't be.
Okay. So, Mr. Karira, just to now give us a parting shot about the current state, and also advice to the small media kind of businesses, how to maneuver and stay afloat, because now you're closing like 10 years in business.
Yes.
Just a parting shot on advice, and also whatever you feel like sharing to the young people, and also the SMEs.
Okay.
Yeah, and also you'll also talk about your location where you're found.
All right. I'm very happy with as gloomy as the situation looks in Kenya, in Africa. I want to say that the opportunities are immense. They are very, very big. We don't need to go abroad to make our bread. The opportunities in Kenya are huge. I'll talk specifically about Uasin Gishu. I'll talk specifically about what we're doing at Shangwe. At the moment, we are heavily investing into agribusiness. We're developing cooperatives. We are going into the leather business, and also conferencing and mentorship. Do come and see us. We all have the ability to make as much money as we want. Really, the amount of money that you can make, I think, is limited by your imagination. Don't be afraid. Don't think that you cannot have what you like. We all have dreams. You ask anyone, what would you like in life? They would tell you. And then if you ask them, why are you not getting it? They say, sinai. Those things are not going to fall down from heaven or anything like that. You have to work for them. Understand? It is difficult, it is hard, but it is rewarding. Work hard now, rest later. Delayed gratification. That's what I would say. I would say that for people who are probably, especially the young people, who think that town kuna pesa, I would go the opposite side and say, hapana, kwa mashamba. We need more young people going back to the farms. We want to do progressive farming, not ile ya kawaida. So kindly know that whatever you like to do, you can find ways of making money doing that, and as much money as you desire. So kindly come and see us. Do I share my number, or what do I do?
Yeah, if you can share your business.
I don't mind. Okay. So my number is 0722 319 617 0722 319 617. Suncraft is located just after Rupa Mall, next to Shell Petrol Station. We are the neighbor of Lesere Feeds. We are building this organization called Shangwe. Please get in touch with us. Look for our Facebook page and our social media handles for Shangwe, because that is the platform that even Suncraft is going to go under.
Thank you, Mr. Karira. I think we could have this show for the longest time ever, because the insights are very, very overwhelming. Thank you for coming to the show. It's been a pleasure to host you here, and looking forward to have this conversation going. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight I'm sure you've learned something, and myself with the insight and the big thing that has come out is always ask yourself the big why. When you're investing, when you're doing whatever you're doing, answer that question. Why are you into it? It has been an amazing show, and we are grateful to have Mr. Karira tonight for this wonderful session. Remember, if you want to keep the conversation going, and for us to keep the conversation going, please share on the comment section on what you've learned, and we are going to keep this conversation going. For tonight, it has been the 7th episode, and we are looking forward for more and more episodes. Next week, same time, same place. Ensure that you're part of this. We are going to have another amazing guest who is going to inspire, who is going to be very insightful, and the show is very educative. Ladies and gentlemen, for tonight, I was your host, Dan, and it's a wrap. May God bless you.
Business Minds, pioneering and inspiring entrepreneurs. Creative talks, CEO insights, success stories, value markets, and financial education. This is the CEO Show. Hosted by Dan.